Konflik antara Rusia dan Ukraina sedikit banyak memberikan dampak bagi Polandia. Bagaimana tidak? Karena negara ini merupakan negara yang langsung berbatasan dengan Ukraina. Sehingga isu seperti pengungsi perang ini juga menjadi concern bagi Polandia di tengah perlambatan ekonomi, inflasi yang tinggi, dan juga krisis energi. Salah satu strategi yang dilakukan oleh Polandia dalam menghadapi krisis energi ini adalah dengan mengimpor batu bara asal Indonesia. Lantas seperti apa detailnya? Kita akan mengulasnya bersama dengan Duta Besar Polandia untuk Indonesia, Her Excellency Beata Stoczynska. Dalam Prime Word CNBC Indonesia bersama saya, Syarifah Rahma.
Welcome to the Polish Embassy, yes?
Anda menyaksikan Prime Word CNBC Indonesia bersama saya Syarifah Rahma. Dan saat ini kami sudah bersama dengan Duta Besar Polandia untuk Indonesia, Her Excellency Beata Stoczynska. Hello, Madam, how are you today?
Good afternoon. I'm fine. Thank you very much for inviting me to your television station. It's really pleasure and privilege. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time for CNBC Indonesia. So the first question, we're going to talk about something that has been the highlight of this year about the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. So as we know that Poland has direct border with Ukraine and is now that we all know is currently invaded by Russia. So how is the condition in your country right now, especially in the area near the war site?
Yes, thank you for this question. Yes, the situation, political, economic situation now in Poland, in Europe, in the whole world is quite difficult. And unfortunately, after COVID, we have to deal with the Russian war in Ukraine, Russian attack to Ukraine, independent country. Poland has border with Ukraine. Actually, we have 7 neighbors. Yes, so Ukraine is one of our neighbor, and the border is our border on the east side of country is around 550 kilometers. So it's quite long border. Of course, since the beginning of the war, since 24 of February this year, it's already half a year, as we know, of the war. Since that time, 5.5 million crossed from Ukraine, million people crossed from Ukraine, crossed the border from Ukraine to Poland. Some of them are moving to other European countries or other countries in the world. Some of them we see now deciding to come back to Ukraine to fight and to save the country, but most of them are staying in Poland. So we deal with a huge number of the Ukrainian citizens in Poland. But of course, as probably it's known everywhere that Poland is a very good neighbor, very good friend of Ukraine. So we try to help as much as possible. Looking at the statistics, Poland is the second donor of help, humanitarian, military, and in many other aspects after the United States. Poland is the second country to help Ukraine. In Poland now we have millions of Ukrainians, and the Polish government as well as the Polish society is helping as much as possible. So Polish government established a lot of special programs for Ukrainians. Most of those people from Ukraine are women, elderly people, and children. Of course, also men, but mostly they are women, children, and elderly people. So we entered access for children from Ukraine to the Polish schools, Polish kindergartens. We opened our labor market for people, women, men to work. They are also able to use Polish health system, and they are entitled to apply for so-called Polish national identity number, which means that if you have this number, you can really feel like a citizen of Poland. Additionally, we are also support financially Ukrainians in Poland. Every Polish family who invite Ukrainians to their homes for a certain period of time, they are given some money from the government to help those families I mean, because they are responsible for Ukrainian friends. So there's a lot of help,
On the other side, we know that one of the consequences of the conflict is that the energy crisis right now that the whole world is facing now. So in terms of Poland is one of the earliest countries that banning the energy supplies from Russia, such as coal and liquid gas. So how is the condition right now?
Yes, I mean, for Poland, it was obvious from the very beginning of the war that the sanctions and blocking Russia is the most important thing, because it can help to stop the war and aggression. Of course, the energy crisis, but also food crisis, we are talking now globally, it's in our door. But Poland, our economy used to be based on coal. 68% of the energy resources is based on coal. Of course, we are using also more modern, let's say, systems, modern systems, but of course, we still depend of coal. But Poland used to be the 10th biggest producer of coal in the world, one of the biggest in Europe. So we, before, let's say a few years ago, our own coal was enough for what we needed in Poland. For the production, for the industry, from houses, simply for our everyday life. When the war in Ukraine started, yes, we experienced a little bit problem, but we started to diversify our resources. Now in Poland we have more and more solar panels. When you travel across Poland, you see more and more houses and industry buildings with the solar panels. So it becomes very popular in Poland now. And of course we are very open now to find new suppliers of coal to Poland. We start to look at new importers for Poland of coal. So also Indonesia is one of our partners. Also our friendly countries from South America and from Australia. So there are plenty of partners we are talking to now, and the first deliveries are already in Poland. Of course, the whole situation in regards to the war in Ukraine created problems, especially transportation problems. Yes, but at the moment in Poland we have still open chains for ships with coal, so there is no really problem. And we are ready also to help Ukraine if they want to still sell their products like coal or other food products. Poland is ready to help, and we are already helping them to take their products via the border and then via our ports on the Baltic Sea.
Okay, so talking about the coal from Indonesia, so how do you think of Indonesia in terms of coal, and will this purchase contract will last longer?
Of course, Indonesia is the main producer of many natural resources, also coal, and we know about it. And in my job, when I came here 4 years ago, so I already started to talk with Indonesian partners from the government, from the coal companies, with the mining, coal minings, and also association of coal. And now those contacts were very useful since February, because we had already partners to talk to, and many Polish companies already expressed their interest to buy coal from Indonesia. So now there's a lot of B2B meetings, G2B meetings, and of course there are always some details concerning, for instance, the different parameters of the coal we need for Poland, specification, things like that. But our experts and Indonesian experts are very close to each other, and they discuss details. But from my knowledge, there are already first deliveries of coal from Indonesia to Poland.
Okay, so the coal has been quite a problem in the country right now, and even maybe it's gonna be bigger when the winter comes. So how do you see the strategy to keep its the Poland citizens, warm during this winter?
Oh yes, I mean, as I mentioned, I just came back from Poland, and there's a lot of discussion what will be in winter because of this energy crisis, etc. But our government is always saying that people, they don't need to be worried, that we have enough coal, enough gas for our domestic needs and industrial needs. But of course, government is also established some support programs. For instance, for the families who still use coal as only energy resource, they received additional money for winter to buy coal, as prices of coal are increasing.
Okay.
So there is definitely programs for support. And there is also a big project and program created by government called Clear Air. So for the households who will decide to change the system of the energy in their homes, they will have also quite a big money for that from the government. Oh, it's about $7,000–8,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's quite a lot, and it helps people to take the decision, yes, to change the system, yes.
Poland is now threatened by a technical recession this year after on the second quarter of this year drops at 2.3% quarterly. And how do you see the prospect of Poland economy in the third quarter and for the rest of this year?
So as I said, our experts, economic, financial experts, predict that we will manage our economic situation.